what was Sunrise City like in the beginning, and what is it like now?
I would say when it comes to recipe-wise, it hasn't really changed much. But also, before I was here, didn't Sunrise City have like honey and some sort of citrus or something?
Yeah, it had Natalie's juice in it and honey originally.
Okay.
And
It's like Hop Slam?
and that may have been right before you're coming on, when I was kind of doing something, and Kevin too, I think maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where that kind of started, and it's kind of evolved from there.
Yeah, I know when in the 3-barrel system or back at the old spot, we bought ingredients less often, and things kind of whittled their way into like, well, we need to make this beer, and this is what we have. And so a lot of beers kind of worked in their way, funneled into like some of like the same ingredients. Like prior to me being there, it was like we had that hop contract that had stuff on it that I was like, we never use this.
Yeah.
And it's because we didn't have it, so they stopped using. But now, I mean, we've pretty much we play with process most of the time, like how we do things, and a little bit of ingredients sourcing for the most part. But I mean, other than that, that's
Sunrise is like a go-to. I mean, it's like Tackle is right now, but like as far as when I think of Selfish, I think of, back 6-7 years ago when I first had it, it was just straight up like, that's what you think of when you think of Selfish, even though like White Marlin's our flagship and everything like that. Selfish or Sunrise City is just that one amazing consistent beer. And even if the recipe has changed slightly,
yeah, and the
recipe
hasn't really changed much, but like how we do things,
right?
Or like, we used to put the dry hops in a mesh bag and stick it in the bright tank, and it's now dry hopped cold. But later on, I started, when I took over, we would dry hop towards the end of fermentation, and then we would stage the dry hops into where we do 2 dry hops, and we start to spoon the beer where we seal it off, and it has some natural carbonation to kind of lock in some of those aromas. Beer, the hops are directly in the beer; they are not in any sort of bag, and so it's all little process changes. I feel like have been the biggest like differentiating factor from the old Sunrise to now.
We were using an oil at some point, weren't we?
Yeah,
Hop
we do
Yeah,
use like bittering oil.
Yeah.
That we just use. It's a little bit at the beginning of the boil, just to just cut down on the amount of plant material.
Yeah.
It does get really vegetal, and when you're just adding so much hops into it. So the bittering at the beginning, but then all the hops throughout the rest of the boil are all at least pellet hops.
Yeah.
Pelletized.
Yeah, I mean, your guys' yield improves
incredible.
significantly.
Yeah.
On that beer. I mean, most people know. I mean, you start off with a 60-barrel batch you're doing, and you may end up with 57 barrels of it that are actually finished product that you yield. I mean, you guys have gotten pretty close to 60 in some cases recently.
We've been milking it.
Yeah. No, it means a lot, though. I mean, it really helps out from, when you are on the production side producing a lot of it. It really helps out a lot.